walk in the room as whoever you want to be and show up as whoever you want to be. So, and this can work positively and negatively. So if you want to be the next Beyonce, you know, you don't walk into a room looking like an extra. You have to walk in looking like what you want to be. Now, somebody like, for example, Charlize Theron. So her acting career, she was doing auditions and she was getting turned down. She went to LA. I think one of her checks didn't cash, so she's in a bank making a scene, and then an agent just so happens to be in there, sees her, goes like, wow, she's fantastic. And that jumped off her whole career. But I'm pretty sure when she walked into that bank, she was not dressed like a hobo. I'm pretty sure she looked like some version of the gorgeous woman that we see. So I would just say something to increase your chances, especially if you live in certain markets. When you're in LA and you go to the grocery store, you don't know who's in aisle 6. Like, you don't know who you can run into. So always walk in whatever it is you want to be. And then also, I had another friend, and this is again how it can work against you. I had another friend, she wanted to get work as a stylist, you know, so she was a very gorgeous woman, right? And so she would come dressed like a Beyonce. So like she came dressed like a Beyonce, and then the female talent who had very big egos, they did not like her. And so, because when she would walk in, everybody's like, oh my God, are you talent? Ready to like put her in hair and makeup. And so like, you know, she kind of came to me because I was an associate producer at the time. And so she told me what she was going through. And I was just like, she's like, I don't know why they don't like me. I walk in, everyone thinks I'm talent before they even think they're talent. And I'm just like, but are you talent? And she's like, no. I was like, well, that might be why they're not responding to you. It's like you're there to make them look good. Like, that's your job. You're coming in there blowing everyone out, but like that's not your role on this set. Like, you kind of in a sense want to be hired help. You see what these female egos look like, so it's up to you to make the adjustment. Like, do I think do I think it's fair that she should have had to do that? No, I think she should be able to show up and look like Beyonce and people should just eat it. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you have to play the role that you want. Joining film communities. I think this is one of the most important things. Every single job that I got in the industry, every single one, even in different facets of entertainment. When I was in commercials, I got my commercial agent. It was not because I was talented, wasn't because I was cute. It was because I knew a casting director who plugged me with an agent. I got my internship because I knew someone who knew the CEO of the network. When I start working in jobs, like when I was a producer on America's Got Talent, I didn't have to submit a resume and go against maybe the 200, 300, 400, 500 people that would have competed for the job. I just knew someone who knew the executive producer. Literally just knew people. I got Cedric the Entertainer in my film, not because I went through his agent and had to pay a bunch of money. I knew his cousin. So like in this industry, when they say, you know, who you know is everything, who you know is everything. Whether, you know, comedian, film, music, get to know people in the community. And also something that's understated is get to know the people at the lower end of the community. Like you walk into a room, everyone wants to know the VP of production, everybody wants to talk to the people high up, but the thing is sometimes the assistants will be the ones that can help you out. Like they'll be the ones that, yeah, maybe they can't hire you, but they'll be more likely to talk to you, and then maybe they can give your resume to their boss. So never underestimate when someone's on a lower level. And even here, I don't know if I just got here not too long ago, so they have like the Oklahoma Motion Picture Alliance. So they have their little networking events every first Friday.
Tomorrow at 8 a.m. You should go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's like I'm here in a new place. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna meet the other creatives. And even something like, you know, going to school to get a degree, like in entertainment, like if someone asked me whether I thought a film degree was really important. And I say this as someone with a master's in TV who's taught it at the college level. Would I say that was really important? No, I wouldn't. Like for some people, I'd be like, well, you might be better off, like if you're gonna spend what now can be like $100 grand on an education, you could use that and buy like professional film equipment and then make your own movie and break in that way. But the goal of that is if you can break in with the community, because a lot of the people, you know, you go to a USC film program, a lot of those people, they're gonna get jobs in TV, and if you're plugged into that network, then that will be more valuable, I think, than the actual like piece of paper. Know your craft, and if you're starting out, I would say have a very good answer to that question. And the reason why I say is because when I've gone on interviews for, I don't know if you've experienced the same thing. When I've had production interviews, people sometimes ask like, oh, who's your favorite director? Or whatever you want to do, like who's your favorite person? And in LA, there can be snobbery around that. So if I say, oh, my favorite director is Steven Spielberg, you know, like then there's this like snobbery around it, like, okay, so is every average Joe's. And it doesn't show that I really have any in-depth knowledge of my craft, opposed to if you can throw around someone that's a little bit more obscure and the reason why you like that person, to kind of leave an impression that, hey, I'm not just a regular fan, I actually know this stuff and I actually study it and I go beyond the average person. So I would definitely say, no, if you're starting off, I think that's a good question to know the answer to. And I also think it's important that you can show a certain mastery of how much you know about your craft. So people just, you know, they just give you a certain kind of respect instead of thinking you're a groupie to the craft. Me personally, I don't care. Like when I worked in production, if someone didn't have a good answer to that question, me personally, I would not care. But I just know how there can be like this snobbery within certain entertainment communities. Even like some people will go, oh, you know, oh, I only watch independent films. And it's just like, honestly, like a lot of independent films are nothing but blockbuster films written in 3-act structure, but they didn't have the same budget and they went through an indie film company, but structurally they're the same. But people like to throw around that kind of stuff to look like they know something. So it's good to be able to, I guess, keep up with the Joneses. Number 9 is just time, being willing to put a lot of time into it. You look at people like, you know, I guess what Morgan Freeman and Samuel L. Jackson, we didn't see them that much when they were young, you know, like they reached these greats, like a lot of the greats, if you pay attention to them, they reached greatness after putting in like 20, 30 years. So I think some people, they'll go out to LA, you know, they'll have a rough patch for like 5 years and then it's just like, oh, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Or they'll try to make a documentary and then they can't they can't get someone to give them 100,000 even though they never had a film before, so they just automatically give up, not knowing like, no, it takes some people 10 years to do one film. It takes some people like 30 years to get a significant role in a movie. So that's why the why, going back to the why, is so important, because you have to go into it knowing, hey, if I'm not willing, you know, if you want to be the person like, I'm going to give this 5 years and see what happens, you can totally be that person. But just knowing like, if this is something that you really love and you really want to do, 5 years might not be when you break in. That might be just the beginning. You know, you might have to use 20, 25 years becoming great for someone to see that great thing you accomplished way down the line. And number 10, excuse my French, fuck the industry. So, and the reason why I say, you know, kind of fuck the industry is because, to the point you were making, like the industry, when I worked in it, I don't want to jade anyone, it was not fair. And like you said, like there were tons of people who had talent and they were dismissed because somebody wanted their cousin to have a job. You know, if whatever you want to do, like if you want to be a filmmaker, literally our phones shoot in 4K. Everybody is walking around with a broadcast quality film. I mean, a broadcast quality film camera. There's no reason that you shouldn't have a film. Singing, like now you can make beats and all that kind of stuff on a MacBook and GarageBand. Like, will it be of the quality of, you know, the Bodyguard soundtrack? Maybe not yet, but it's good enough to give you a good enough sound to where you can actually make waves. So just going above and beyond the industry with your talents, and then when they're ready, you know, if you put out a product that they want, you can lease them the product, and you don't have to be a slave to whether someone else says yay or nay. But if there were any questions that you might have.
What brings you to Tulsa?
Oh, it's so funny. What brings me to Tulsa? So actually, I was working in TV and film for a long time.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I was working in TV and film in Los Angeles, and then my last project I was working on, and it was just so unethical. Like after that, I was just like, you know what? I'm done with production jobs, and I actually need a break from LA. Is also a lot too, and I needed a break from LA. Had broke up with my little 12-year boyfriend, so I kind of switched gears, and then they had this program, Tulsa Remote. So I was just like, you know what? Let me check out, let me just go somewhere completely different and try something different. So that's why I'm here. And then I decided to start like a few months ago. I'm just like, let me just dip my little foot in the entertainment scene here, because I think it will be very different than a Los Angeles. So I'm enjoying being around people who are just a little bit more like genuine, and it feels a little bit more like at home. I think I need that at this moment. Not to say I won't ever go back to all the stuff, but yeah, I needed a quieter situation. Like this actually brings me more joy, just helping people, you know, who might just want some information, than kind of being a part of the big machine at this time.
Awesome. How did you get an agent? You said you got a commercial agent.
Who I knew. So kind of tapping back into getting, being in certain communities. So in LA, you can take acting classes with actual scene casting directors. So for me, that only made sense. I'm like, why would if I could take classes with actual casting directors, why do it with someone else?
Did they advertise it like that?
No,
they just happened to sign up for a class. And
did they? Yes. So a lot of the casting directors in LA, they'll do script labs, audition labs. So you follow different casting directors. So it is who you know. So you target casting directors, and then you also target people who are very good in whatever specific avenue of acting you want to go into. So when I wanted to go into, I was doing commercial acting. So I looked up the best commercial acting people who were doing workshops at the time. And so if you're really good at your craft, then they'll let you use their name when I was trying to get my agent. So I was able to get a referral to agencies, but it was based on me joining certain communities.